Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is the horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so this is a bonus reading for Libra, and today we have the Death card. And this is from one of my favorite decks, the Carnival at the End of the World. All right, let's get started here. Let's see, what do these tea leaves have to show? What do they want to say? What do they want to do today? Oh, well, we have a large rabbit. Immediately, I'm seeing right here, we have a rabbit. It looks like one of those, what are they, jackrabbits? Long and spindly and beautiful, very distinct faces. And so, immediately I know there is a great sense of fertility in this period of time coming up. Okay, this is a real movement towards creativity, towards just that inspiration flowing in, right? The universe is communing with you quite openly, right? Now, we have the Death card. And I know, we see the Death card and we think, oh boy, that's scary. And I know pop culture has made this archetype, at least in tarot, quite scary. It's not, though. Not always. It is an ending, no doubt. But usually, and hopefully always, it is the ending of something that does not serve us well anymore. And it might be that you have really put off ending something, or quitting, or walking away from. Maybe there's a sense of responsibility. Maybe this is something that you were once very devoted to, and it feels strange to have to let go of it. Maybe it's something that you stay in because it feels like the normal. And maybe that thing has deteriorated and gotten to a place where it just doesn't work anymore. Well, then when we have the rabbit and we have death, that energy of end. To me, what this says is, yeah, that thing is ending, or it has ended. And now, as you clean up the pieces, the destruction, the fallout, you tidy up. I can imagine sweeping it all into a pile, getting it into your dustpan, putting it in a box, closing it up. Carrying it outside, taking it to where you can mulch it or dump it or put it in the trash can, whatever, right? Now you go back in and suddenly this room is full of space. And you start thinking, what if? What if I did this? What if I did that? I have all of this room now. There's so much potential here. You might start getting a little excited about the future. There's not this, lingering, oppressive feeling of dead weight, right? You've been carrying around this thing that it's a hindrance. And so when I see the Death card, I think, yeah, this is a good time. Okay, here we go. Right? It might hurt. It might be a little bit scary. It might be uncomfortable. But then once we get past that, oh, the potential. So many opportunities. All right, let's see. We also have, it looks like we have the Hierophant seated up here. Okay, the High Priest. And then over here, the High Priestess. Okay, seated, arms up, holding the egg. The beginning. We know the egg, the ovum. It is the beginning. It is a symbol that is seen time and time again in cosmology. Cosmology. I always mix up the two. The beginning. A creation story, or not, it doesn't have to be creation necessarily, but a story of beginning, right? When we think of the egg sitting on the mound, breaking open. And so it begins. We also have the Hierophant. So order. Finding a system, routine, a practice, something that benefits your work, your path. I often think of things like beginning meditation, breath work. Maybe starting an affiliation with a religion, or a new congregation, or finding, a place where they're having things like, ceremonies or rituals, public rituals, like Gnostic Mass, for instance. The one I always think of. It's usually most cities have, like an OTO or something similar, and like a Gnostic temple or something. But finding something for you to put your work and faith into. Now, this doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to be that you're going to go and join a church and go, to services or temple or mosque or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be that. It could be that you are building your routine, right? Maybe you were implementing some kind of like fasting and meditation and a time for prayer and contemplation, and you get what I mean. You don't even have to be that formal either. It could be anything, right? But it is feeding into the greater spiritual work, whatever that looks like to you. Now, the High Priestess is one of intuition, right? This is one of that divine feminine consciousness, the creative force. This is the vessel, the portal for manifestation. And so between the two of these, we have quite a spiritual, holy magician, mystic, magi, whatever you want to call yourself, whatever archetype kind of fits your image. Potent, very potent. So I feel like in the space that you have created in your life, there is a turn towards the magical work, the alchemical work, the spiritual work, the process of individuation. Aligning yourself with the divine in an intentional manner. Now, you are always aligned with spirit. You are always aligned with the cosmos. You are of it. It is of you. There is no difference between you and that. You are that. That is you, right? But in these moments, we become quite aware, right? We're aware of our place. And so we intentionally move in these archetypes. And so I can see you really constructing a life that you want. I feel like whatever was going on before, it was maybe what you thought you wanted. Maybe it is what you wanted, but it didn't work out in the way that you had envisioned. How many times in your life have you had a goal and you've done so much to reach that goal? You have, worked yourself to the bone at times to get there. And then when you arrive, it doesn't feel like you thought it was going to. And you realize, I don't know what I thought I was doing. I don't even know if this goal was my own, or was this one conditioning? Was this something that my family told me to do? Society told me this is the dream. I feel like my big example in my mind whenever I'm thinking of this is like going to school, right? Going off to college. Spending a lot of time, money, effort to get these degrees. Maybe even doing, beyond that, getting like a master's, a doctorate, whatever. And then you step outside of that academic world, that bubble, and the work that you thought maybe you wanted to do, or the field, the career, you get out there and it's not what you thought. But you've put in all this effort, time, money, tears, sleepless nights, probably your family supporting you in a lot of ways, and you think, I have to stay the course. But it feels empty. It doesn't feel like you. It doesn't feel meaningful. It maybe even is quite treacherous. And listen, I'll go back a little bit and say, I'm not against going to college, right? Absolutely. If you have the opportunity and you have the means and everything else, go. Do that for yourself. But, I think so often in life, we put a lot into these goals that we think are our own, but they don't really speak to our authentic self. And we get there and it's kind of like, what the heck is this? This isn't what I imagined. And it erodes the soul in a lot of ways, right? And maybe that's an ordeal we need to go through. I don't know. I think sometimes those kinds of losses need to happen. Of course, we need to fail and we need to be wrong and we need to, be able to pull ourselves out of that. Well, here I see, whatever was before, whatever you were doing and it didn't work out, or you couldn't maintain it any longer. That's okay. You know that, right? It is okay. And it will be okay. And I think it will be better than okay, because I see that in the absence of that, once you start clearing your life out of that, there's all this room and there is all this real inclination towards spirit and spiritual work and finding something meaningful for you, not for other people, not for what, you know, the world says you should be doing or where you should find value. You have to sometimes, fail pretty big to realize I cannot live in other people's imagining of the world. I can't live the life that my parents want for me. I cannot do it. It might take you to be, you know, 50, 60 years old until you realize that. And that's okay too. Now I look up here, we have the cow. We have the mother energy. Okay, we have Hathor. We also have the baby cow up here, the calf, if you will. And so I do also feel there is a great focus on family, on the belovedness and kinship of those who you have chosen to be close to you. You have chosen and they have chosen. You have a strong parental energy. Now, it doesn't have to be that you have had children. You don't have to be a mother. You don't have to be a father. But you are a caretaker. You are a person in your heart of hearts. You want everybody to be okay. And you are willing to put in the time and effort to help those who need help. To be there for people who need people to be there for them. And I feel like this is where you find your fulfillment. I always think of Libra people as being, the mediators, the counselors, the social workers, the medical field, teachers, outreach people. Now, you don't have to do this formally. Maybe you are somebody who mentors, or maybe you've raised kids and you're that parent that your friends' kids would come and talk to because they knew that you were safe and open-minded, and maybe they couldn't find that at home. You're accepting and inclusive and have just a unconditional love for people. And this all, it comes so naturally to you. And when you are living outside of that archetype as, caregiver, as a place, a refuge for others, I feel like you feel out of connection with the universe. Now, that's not to say, let me just say, I said a refuge for others. I don't think that you let people take advantage of you. I just want to say that clearly. You're not somebody that's just taking in any old stray person, right? And being used and abused behind that. No. I think that you have good boundaries. And you keep your personal sacred spaces for yourself and for, your very few, your beloved people. But you are somebody that is safe. If you can think of, if you were going through a terrible time, you had something to talk about, you didn't feel like you could say it to anybody, you worry that they would judge you, but there's one person that you could call and they would just be there for you, listening. They don't even necessarily have anything to say about it besides, I love you, I'm here for you. I hear you. You're that person for other people. You are a blessing. You are a blessing. All right, let's see. We have... Now, I keep seeing the V's on here. And I keep getting this name, like Vi, maybe? A Viola? Violet, Vivian, something, but I think Vi, V-I, Vi or V-Y maybe. That seems to be coming up. Now we have the death symbol once again here in the middle. Okay? And I feel like it's almost, you know, how we perceive or kind of the stereotype of middle age, like the midlife crisis. This almost kind of feels similar to that. Although it's not like that I'm going to go buy a Porsche or I'm going to add on a wing of the house or whatever, you know, those stereotypes are. But I think this is a time where it's like, yeah, a reevaluation of how you've been living. Because we come into these moments where we are very acutely aware that, you know what? My mortality lives right here beside me. This isn't going to last forever. Right? I have only so much time, and it seems the older we get, the quicker time goes by. I've always heard it. I didn't ever understand it until recently. These last 5 years have gone by so fast. I can't even, my head is spinning because of how fast they are. My daughter just turned 4. I don't even understand how. Yesterday, she was a little baby. You know? So I look at this and I'm thinking, yeah, you're going through a period where it's like, yeah, you're seeing. I got to do something that feels right for me. I have to do something that is meaningful to me. I am going to live in a way that is authentic to who I am. No more pretend. No more going through the motions. No more doing it because I feel some responsibility to an idea that isn't even real. No more. Now we have a person here with a fish right above their head. And I believe this. I'm a superstitious person. I believe when we honor ourselves, when we take chances, when we make those leaps of faith in our life, that is when the abundance starts to come in. When we are living in a way that feels rich. Now, it doesn't have to be just the money. I mean, this is love. This is waking up in the morning and being excited about what you're going to do, what you're going to see. Now, if you're a gardener, you understand this. Especially in those beginning stages, right? You planted the seeds, you're sprouting them, you're taking care of them, keeping them warm. The spring is still a little cold and you have them things in your garage or your greenhouse or, maybe on your kitchen table or whatever. You're growing them and you wake up in the morning and you think, I'm going to go see my babies. I'm going to see how they're doing today. You're excited. You're excited. And then you get them outside, right? They're planted. And some weeks go by and they're looking beautiful. And then, you see that first blossom. Right where that squash is going to grow or that pepper or, your tomatoes. And oh boy, do you have a little dance. Your heart is aflame. It's all coming together. Now, can you imagine feeling like this about life? Just life because you have chosen yourself. You've chosen to live in a way that you don't have to lament. You don't have to feel guilty about. You don't have to feel any kind of shame about. You're just living the way that you want to. Yeah. That's it. That comes on the back of death, right? It does. Cutting away all of that stuff, that conditioning, that meaninglessness that we partake in. All right, let's go ahead, Libra. We're going to do our divine doors, and I'm going to flip and stop where it feels right. Oh, yes, I love this one because it looks like a face with the little teeth, and oh, yeah, I like it. I love it. I love things that look like faces. All right, we have intuition, simple, complex, words of pain or words that heal. You come to know truth by the way it feels. By the way it feels. Yes, absolutely. All right, Libra, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel. And boy, does the channel need help. My views have been abysmal. I don't know what's going on. There are waxing and wanings of the algorithm, but my goodness, please smile upon me, YouTube. Put me in those recommends. We, as a collective here at ULA, want to keep growing, right? I think so. So anyways, it does help. The interaction helps. The engagement helps. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, again, the engagement helps. But also, I just love hearing from you. So please, yes, feel free to leave a comment. I will definitely read it. All right. Once again, I'll tell you I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in a couple days. Good night.